This was a $500 break, boys, okay? This was a $500 break. Come on.
Backyard Breaks is back in the news. The card makers haven't realized Sarah and Nikki are gone. So Backyard is still pulling big cards. The company pulled out the hot boxes yesterday and dipped into two. One of one Trevor Lawrence cards, one supposedly worth $15,000.
9 figures.
So let's see. Justin Herbert is priced in at 7 Super Bowls. Trevor Lawrence is supposed to win 5 Super Bowls. Zach Wilson will eventually stop banging MILFs.
Would you sleep with me tonight?
And win 2 Super Bowls. And I guess if the 49ers win this year, does that count as 1 for Trey Lance?
You know, I've never been the type to really care about that kind of thing. And
I honestly think we'll look back in a few years at how some of you trip out over these young 23-year-old quarterbacks and laugh. But for now, the only people laughing are in the backyard.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
Nobody except me is laughing about all the mistakes being made at Panini and Topps lately. We had a fake Babe Ruth autograph in a Topps product that PSA said was fake. We have a Babe Ruth autograph in a Panini product featuring a George Brett autograph. Even I would have to acknowledge, when you make as many cards as these card manufacturers make, mistakes will happen, but for it to happen on the biggest cards in the product, that's pretty bad. But this is why you spend so much money on the exclusive license. This is why licensing is so important. You have nowhere else to run. You guys have nowhere else to go but to Topps or Panini. You roast Brian Gray and Leaf over the coals for every card they make. So Panini and Topps can keep making all the mistakes they want. The next product that comes out, it's gonna sell.
It's like similar to a deer being caught in the headlight.
Let's talk about sports card shops. I've heard from many of them recently, and a lot of the chatter centers around the special treatment some of the good old boys get from the card manufacturers like Panini and Topps. Many people in the hobby and viewers of this channel have become aware of certain group breakers that appear to get special treatment from card makers. But I can assure you, there are many people in the hobby that get a much bigger homie hookup. Anyone around the hobby before 2019, and especially hobby shop owners, know that the people who get the biggest allocation of product from the card manufacturers and distributors are Blowout Cards, DA Card World, and Steel City Collectibles. Hobby shops for years have struggled to compete with the likes of these companies. It's one of the reasons why group breaking has become so popular, because there isn't a way to profitably buy and sell cases unless you chop them up 30 different ways in a break. Blowout, DA, and Steel City are the Walmart and Target of this industry. Think about it like this. Opening a card shop that relies on buying and selling sealed wax is akin to opening up a mom and pop grocery store next to your local Walmart.
We make the least amount of money.
Before the card boom of 2020, if you went to an industry conference, hearing local card shop owners talk about their hatred for Blowout and DA was a very common occurrence.
Drop them.
Blowout and DA have essentially been able to control the retail price of wax, either on the upside or downside, for about 20 years. In the past, when products were much cheaper and boxes would go on clearance, the only people who would have access to the dumping of product from the card manufacturers were Blowout, DA, and Steel City. They have been granted special deals that nobody else gets access to. On the upside, they have been able to control the price by colluding together on minimum price points. I heard from a former employee of DA Card World who would say that during the card boom, the company would put boxes on their website that they would claim they would only have 10 left to entice a lot of the newbies to buy. In reality, the company had hundreds of boxes in their warehouse.
You can Google it.
The special treatment companies like Blowout and DA receive comes in part because they built up businesses that offer the liquidity to Topps and Panini when they need it, but it's also the schmoozing, the luxury box at the Buffalo Sabres game. It's the under-the-table payoffs I've heard about.
That's not content.
Private jets. It's the things I've witnessed with my own 2 eyes, going to Topps Transcendent parties, going to events in this industry. When this business was much smaller, I've seen the freebies get stuffed into their bags. I've heard about what has been given to certain employees in terms of gifts and cash payoffs.
That's drama.
DA, Blowout, and Steel City have such a huge advantage over hobby shops, and it looks like some hobby shops have begun to fight back. It appears that Blowout Cards does not pay sales tax in any state except where they are located in Virginia. When you place an order on Blowout Cards, you do not have to pay sales tax if you live in a state that charges it. That, ladies and gentlemen, for a business as large as Blowout, is actually highly illegal since 2018. Why is that? Well, on June 21st, 2018, South Dakota versus Wayfair overturned a 1992 Supreme Court ruling. States can now require e-commerce businesses to pay sales tax where those businesses have an economic presence or nexus. In states like Arizona, folks, a presence doesn't have to mean you selling tons of products and wax to people who live there. A business like Blowout would have to pay Arizona sales tax if they had an employee present in the state for more than 2 days per year. The Tops Industry Conference, folks, that I've been to a few times, is held 3 days each year in Arizona. Take a look at this criminal complaint that was filed against Blowout Cards recently in Arizona. Think about if you set up a hobby shop in Arizona and your customers come in, literally this happens, your customers will come in and wonder why they can order off Blowout Cards, they can save at least 8% because they don't have to pay the sales tax, plus whatever discounts Blowout Cards can provide because they have the homie hookup. It would be dumb to set up a hobby shop in Arizona centered around selling wax when a key competitor can beat you by at least 8% on price. So you can see why this is frustrating to hobby shops. You can see why this would make them mad. They literally have to deal with people coming into their shop and wondering why the product, number one, is so much cheaper on Blowout's website, and number two, why they don't have to pay 8% sales tax on that website either. Will states like Arizona do anything about it? Probably yes, actually. Here is something from the Shopify website. States with economic nexus can present a major risk for fast-growing companies. The media is likely to cover the success of your business, and auditors are going to read about it. In states like New York, whistleblower lawsuits make it profitable for attorneys to sue the non-compliant. Hello, lawyers. It is because of these laws why you see DA Cardworld recently charged sales tax. There is evidence DA Cardworld has registered their business in various states. They have nexus. We will see if Blowout Cards complies with the laws or not, and if any of these complaints against them move forward. Any auditors or lawyers who want to talk about this, you're more than free to reach out to me. On the bright side of things, folks,
I think that Will Greer right now is about 4 times better of an investment than Kyler Murray.
Will Greer is still on the Dallas Cowboys active roster, so with their current QB situation, you never know. There could be 3 or 4 Super Bowls still in the cards someday for Will Greer. Guys, that is a very, very, very positive thing for many people out there in this hobby. And guys, until next time, we'll see you later right here on Sports Card Radio.